Hey y'all, welcome back. So I've got an awesome DIY to share with y'all today. We're going to be making a dusting spray, so kind of like a homemade version of Pledge. And today's video is going to be a little bit different. Let me move you a little bit because that's better. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit different because I actually made this video yesterday and I made the cleaner or the dusting spray and everything. And then when I went to upload it at like 3 a.m. because I upload overnight because it takes so long and it ties up the internet, and so I do it while everyone's sleeping, I deleted it instead of uploading it. So I don't know why in the world they put the share button right next to the delete button, but in the app that I use they do. So I accidentally deleted the video. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through the whole thing just like I would do if I were making it, but I'm not going to make it because it does contain water and I don't want it to spoil on me. So with that being said, here we go. So like I said, we're going to be making a homemade dusting spray today. And I love this DIY because dusting spray is such a wonderful cleaning product to have, but it's usually like when we start to go on a budget or we're kind of taking stock of what we really need to clean our home with and what we don't, dusting spray is one of the first to go. Now a can of dusting spray, at least the last time I bought one for, I think it was Pledge, I paid over $4 a can. Now I haven't bought it in years because I've been using my homemade stuff, but even still, it's one of those things that you need and it makes your life easier, but you really don't need when you're talking about how much it costs to buy it. So I decided making mine, and I just love it because the purpose of dusting spray is to give the dust something to stick to. Because if you think about it, if you were to go clean like your dirty, your dusty wooden bookshelf, for instance, okay, and you were to spray it with your plain old window cleaner, well, one, that's not very good for hardwood because it can dry it out. But also, the force from the spray itself is going to cause the dust to kind of go poof, you know. And then, without that sound effect, of course, and then your cloth itself, when you wipe it, there's a chance that it's going to make it go everywhere as well. And so then you end up not getting all of the dust up. And let's be honest here, dust is gross. Nobody wants it lying around their house. Now, let me say, my house is dusty. I'm not judging anyone for having a dusty home. I'm not saying anyone is gross for having a dusty home. I'm saying the dust itself is gross because dust is. I mean, it's our skin and hair. It's our animals' skin and hair. It's dead microorganisms. It's dead bugs. They're exoskeletons, sometimes mold, dirt, food particulates. Basically anything that has come into our home makes up the dust. So it's not something that you want, you know, going everywhere. And plus, who wants to clean and then have it back just like that, like because they didn't get all of it? I know I certainly don't. So that's why dusting spray really comes in handy. And so the homemade version, like I said, is much better because it's cheaper. I mean, this is way more economical. Not to mention that if you were to buy a can of Pledge or Endust, I mean, the list would be as long as your arm of ingredients, whereas this is only 3 ingredients with an optional 4th ingredient. So, and really half the stuff that's in there you don't even need. And I don't know, a lot of it in there is preservatives, and I do understand that. But you just don't need all that. We all need to simplify our lives a little bit. And so another thing that makes it so good, I'm sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained today, I'm tired. Another thing that makes it so much better to use is because you're using, I'll show it to you here, it has the little, you know, regular spray nozzle like this as opposed to being aerosol. Now I'm not going to pick on aerosol because I do use aerosolized hairspray and mousse. But the problem with the aerosol is the surface area that it covers when it sprays. You know, so if you're, like I have this gorgeous antique wooden vanity in my bedroom. And of course, since it's a vanity, it's got mirrors, but it's hardwood. So it was very difficult when I was still using Pledge to be able to clean the hardwood and moisturize it a little bit, but not get it on the glass. And the same thing for the floor. It gets all over the floor. My pastor has told this story before where his wife had dusted their bedside tables and he went walking in the bedroom, minded his own business, and wiped out and busted his butt because he stepped where the Pledge was. And I know that we've all had some experience like that. So when you use this little spray nozzle like this makes you able to concentrate it a little bit, and that way you're not getting it on surfaces that you don't want it on, and also that just kind of cuts down on waste. So I said this is a 4 ingredient, well, 3 with an optional 4th ingredient cleaner. And so we're going to talk about the ingredients now. We're going to be using water, and water is basically the vehicle for the other ingredients. It's also going to have Castille soap in it. Now the Castille soap is there for 2 purposes. One, it is a solvent. So when it combines with the water, it's going to actually help dissolve some of the dirt that happens to be on the surface. But also it's going to give something for the dirt to, or excuse me, the dust to stick to, so that whenever you go to wipe it with your cloth, it sticks and then grabs onto the cloth, and then it's your surface is clean. We're also going to put some olive oil in this, and that is going to help moisturize the wood. And then your optional ingredients are, of course, essential oils. Now the traditional scent for dusting spray would of course be lemon essential oil, and I usually do that. I, however, am out of lemon essential oil, so I'm going to use some different ones today. Now, I mentioned that there is Castille soap in this, and there are lots of recipes for this on Pinterest. And y'all know that I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest, because pretty much anybody can be a blogger and pretty much anybody can create a pin. And unfortunately, some of those people are telling you things that are just not good advice. I've spoken about this before. I'm not necessarily picking on anyone. I'm really telling you this so y'all don't make the same mistake as I made these mistakes too. Anyway, some of these recipes tell you to combine vinegar with Castille soap. And for those of y'all that saw my first DIY video, I talked about products that should not be combined. And so you already know where I'm going with this. But for those of you that didn't, I'll give you a little chemistry lesson again. Okay, so you should not combine Castille soap with vinegar, because Castille soap is an alkali and vinegar is an acid. And when you combine a vinegar or an acid and an alkali together, they effectively neutralize one another. And what actually makes the Castille soap an alkali is the lye in it. Literally, all it is lye and oils. That's why everybody loves it so much, because it's a true soap and it's not full of a whole bunch of ingredients. So that's why it's kind of all the rage. But what happens is when that vinegar neutralizes that lye, all that's left is oil. Now, some of you might be thinking, the thought might be going through your head, okay, well, she said we have to moisturize the wood with the oil, so this is a good thing. We're giving it more oil. Not really, because it doesn't leave behind pure oil. Unfortunately, it leaves behind something called unsponified soap. And this is essentially a waxy, dull, slick film that will get left on every surface that this cleaner touches. Now, I talked about this in my first DIY video. But what happened to me is I've done this myself. I got my first bottle of Castille soap. I believe I bought it to make my daughter, Alice May at the time, so she was a baby back then. She's almost 5. But I bought it to make her some baby wash. And I've always mopped my floors with a vinegar solution, and then I've always put a little drop of dish soap in it. Now, I had this bottle of Castille soap, and I was so excited to use it, and so I thought, well, I'm going to amp up the cleaning power, because, you know, Castille soap is so concentrated, and I'm going to make it even more natural, and I'm going to put my Castille soap in it. Y'all, my house, I have a 900 square foot house. It's tiny, but it's peel and stick. You can kind of see right in that little corner over here that my whole house is peel and stick. And I mopped my whole house with this solution, only to find this gummy, waxy, dull, slick substance all over my floors. And I quickly looked it up, and I found a blogger that actually explained the whole thing, and I was like, oh no. So I had to go and wipe it, and it actually took a couple tries to get it all up, and that's how bad it was. So please do not combine vinegar and baking soda. Well, you shouldn't combine vinegar and baking soda either, but do not combine vinegar and Castille soap. If you've done it before, it's okay. I'm sure you've learned from your mistake, but for those of you that have not done it yet, the more you know. And no, I'm not judging people or being a snot face. I'm just saying that's something that you don't want to do. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how to put this together, and I'm going to give you your measurements. You want to get a bottle to store this in. This is another Bragg's bottle. This is, of course, glass. Mine did have essential oils in it. Now, I know, and I've talked about this before, I know that some people are leery about putting things that contain essential oils in plastic bottles. This should only be kept for about 3 months before you run the risk of spoilage and contamination. So it is not going to be in plastic long enough if you do put the oils in there for the oils to leach the toxins out of the plastic. So that's not a big deal. Whatever you use, just make sure that it has been washed in hot soapy water and then dried. And then I recommend spraying some alcohol or vinegar in it and then letting that dry as well. Also clean your nozzle out. That's important. It could still contaminate it. You're also going to want to use a liquid measurer to do this in a funnel. I know that a lot of times I tell you just to dump everything in the bottle, but with this, because we're only using tablespoons of things as opposed to cups of things, it's going to be harder to pour it all in there without wasting some of your products. And I completely forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I don't know. All right, anyway, moving on. So you're going to need water. Now you're going to need 4 cups of water. If you feel like you are not going to use this up within the 3 months, go ahead and have the recipe. That way you don't run the risk of spoilage and then having to throw it out, because nobody wants to waste their money. So you're going to need 4 cups of water. You're going to either use distilled water or, of course, tap water that has been brought to a rolling boil for 10 minutes and then left to cool. So what I do is once I boil the water, I pour it in my liquid measurer, measure it out, and then let it sit to cool. You're also, to that thing of water, you're going to add your Castille soap. We're going to use 2.5 tablespoons of Castille soap. I used the vinegar Castille soap with this because I have this and I love the smell of peppermint, and I was thinking that peppermint is such a wonderful cleaning oil that I thought maybe I should start making most of my cleaning products with the peppermint and then use my lavender for like my body care products and my laundry soap. So I like the smell of it, and it's nice to change it up. You could, of course, use whatever scent you want. You can even use the Baby Mild. So 2.5 tablespoons of this are going to go into the water. Now remember, you never add water to Castille soap. You add Castille soap to water because it is going to cause it to foam up too much, and then you're not going to get your measurements accurate, and you're not going to be able to fit it all into your bottle. You're then going to add your olive oil. This is just plain old olive oil, and you're going to do 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Now you can use, if you really wanted to, you could use sweet almond, although you're more likely to have olive oil, I would think, in your home than you would sweet almond. If you have it, use it, of course. It's not a big deal. You want a medium weight oil to help moisturize the wood. And then you can add your essential oils if you want them. And I used, because I thought it would smell good with it, I used 6 drops of eucalyptus and 6 of the tangerine. So 12 drops in total of essential oil. And I picked these because, one, I thought they would smell good together. But now essential oils, they have on their bottles like little aromatherapy recipes on them, and the one that contained peppermint was like an uplifting one, and it had these in there as well. And so I thought that might be kind of a nice thing for dusting and cleaning my house. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no aromatherapy that's going to make me want to get up and clean, but it might, motivate me a little bit more. It's probably wishful thinking, but I thought it would smell nice, so that's why I did that. So basically what you're going to do is pour all of the ingredients together, whisk it up, and then you're going to pour it in your bottle. And to use it, because there is no emulsifier in here, you are going to have to shake it to use it. Now, if you have granite countertops or you have stainless steel, you can make this and omit the olive oil, and you have a cleaner for your stainless steel and your granite that will not dry it out like vinegar will or leave streaks. So that's something else that you can give it a try. You might be able to use it with the oil in it. I've never done that before. You have to give it a shot. Let me know how that goes if you do. So I think I covered everything. It feels a little weird to actually be telling you how to do something as opposed to sitting there and doing it in front of you. So I'm pretty sure I haven't forgotten anything. If y'all like these videos, like these cleaning DIY kind of videos, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me know if there's a particular recipe that you would like to see, because right now I make everything. So chances are, if there's a request that you have, I probably have a recipe for it. And if not, I am not above developing a recipe for y'all that you can try. There was something I was supposed to tell you, and now I can't remember. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'll remember it when I quit recording, and then I'll end up having to put it in the pinned comment or in the description box. Anyway, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, go ahead and do that. I know that I am just so appealing right now because I can't even get my thoughts together to create a video for y'all, and I'm deleting videos left and right. Yeah, that's professional, Leah. Okay, so, and I will put the proportions in the description box down below. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and let me know in the comments section. If you're new here, go ahead and comment and let me know. I would love to get to know y'all. And as always, thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.